Welcome to the series where I watch the first episode of 10 brand new anime each season. Without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we?
助かるなら何でもします。
よく言った。ならば今からお前を私の奴隷にする。
Chained soldier. Yuki is terribly bored of everyday life, so his life is spiced up when he's transported to another world. Immediately upon arriving in this world, he is attacked by a titan and Esdeath comes to his rescue. In order to be able to fight in this world, Yuki licks Esdeath's finger and gains magical powers, and they fight the titans off together. An unfortunate side effect of Esdeath using her powers is that she is compelled to stick her tongue down Yuki's throat. Somehow. Now Yuki joins a squad and lives in a mansion with the squad that is comprised entirely of women, the lucky bastard. This setup somewhat reminded me of High School DxD for a reason, and if you're an ecchi anime connoisseur, this is probably worth checking out, but from a story point of view, I didn't find it incredibly compelling, so for the first episode at least, I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
ずっと黙っていたが、俺は魔物が好きだ。姿や鳴き声、どんな生態をしてるのか。
Delicious in dungeon. A party is fighting a dragon when things go wrong, and just as Laos' sister is getting eaten by said dragon, she saves her brother and the remaining party members by transporting them outside of the dungeon. Laos wants to go back and save his sister before the dragon can digest her, but with no money or possessions left, there'd be no way to survive down there. But that is when Laos has the genius idea to eat dungeon monsters to survive, which is considered a bit taboo. The concept of the anime is pretty strange about eating monsters, and I don't really know where they're going to go with it. And I did find it mildly funny, but I just don't care. I don't care about the concept, so I'll give this one a 3 out of 10.
壇ノ浦さんに抱きつかれた時おっぱいが柔らかかったから
My instant death ability is so overpowered, no one in this other world stands a chance against me. Yagiri has an ability where he can make somebody die as and when he likes. He can also detect when somebody has murderous intent. So we have Isekai Death Note basically. As for plot, I don't even know how to describe it really, it's pretty nonsensical. If you value your life even a bit, I wouldn't bother wasting your time with this. 2 out of 10. Gushing over magical girls. Utena frigging loves magical girls, and when she is seemingly offered the chance to become a magical girl, she of course accepts. But what actually happens is that she's turned into the leader of the evil organisation that the magical girls constantly fight against. But this isn't so bad for her. She gets to cause trouble for the magical girls in naughty ways, and she begins enjoying being the evil organisation's leader after all. This show is so vulgar and trashy that it's not actually half bad. 7 out of 10. Solo leveling. Gates began appearing in Jinwoo's world where monsters come through and harm people. So in order to combat this, ordinary people were given powers. These days, people with powers go into the gates when they appear, and they defeat the monsters inside of them before they make it into the world, and they earn money from the loot that they collect in the dungeon. The leveling system goes from S being the highest to A, B, C, D, and finally E, and Jinwoo is E rank and possibly the weakest person with powers in the world, and yet keeps going in order to support his family and his sick mother. And when I say sick mother, I don't mean that she's cool. My thoughts on solo leveling are that a lot of money has gone into it and you can tell it's definitely well produced. However, the first episode didn't really hook me, if I'm being honest with you, because it's nothing I haven't really seen before. However, given the hype and given how good people say it is, it's probably worth sticking around for. So for now at least, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. A sign of affection. Yuki is a deaf university student, which means she often has trouble communicating with people easily. On the train she happens to meet Itsuomi, who doesn't seem to have any problem getting what he wants to communicate to her across. Later on, Yuki and her friend Rin go to a cafe so Rin can talk to her crush who happens to work there. And can you guess who also works at the cafe? That's right, Itsuomi works there too. Itsuomi and Yuki somewhat hit it off, and they end the episode by exchanging contact information and texting each other as they walk home. A Sign of Affection has to be one of the most visually appeasing slice of life animes I've ever seen, and things are moving at a good pace too. So if you're a sucker for romance anime like myself, this one is definitely worth checking out. 8 out of 10.
なかなか辛辣だなウサト君。そういうの嫌いじゃないぞ。
先輩のイメージ崩れまくってすでに瓦礫と化してますけど。
The wrong way to use healing magic. Ken happens to meet Suzune, the student council president, and the popular Kazuki, who is the vice president, and they're transported to another world suddenly on the way home. The only problem is that Ken wasn't actually supposed to be summoned. The three of them are to be heroes in this new world. This is beginning to sound like the Shield hero, and Ken's new summoned ability is a rare one, healing magic. Another healing magic user called Rose sees Ken and is keen to train him up in a rather strict manner. I think I might genuinely find this one more enjoyable than Solo Leveling right now. The humour is on point, and I just find the concept more interesting as well. Plus, Rose can train me up any day of the week. 8 out of 10.
どうしたの？
残り少なかったから全部入れちゃえってやったらさ、勢い良すぎていっぱいかかったんだけど。
Tsubasa arrives in Hokkaido, having moved from Tokyo when he has a chance encounter with Minami, who is a gal. They get talking with each other until Minami catches the bus. It turns out that they both go to the same school, and Minami takes somewhat of an interest in Tsubasa and invites him back to her house where they hang out with each other. Look, this one is quite clearly waifu bait, but I'm here to be baited. This is one of those that's more about the character interaction than the story, and it's done pretty well, to be honest. And if anyone has seen Canon before, the location kinda reminds me of that a bit. 8 out of 10.
未来はあなた自身が望むものでなくては意味がありません。私の望み。ご家族を幸せにすることと、あなた自身が幸せになることは両立できるはずです。
Riche has lived the same part of her life 7 times now. Each time she is reset to the same point in time in her life, and then she goes on to live her life to the fullest, learning new skills and experiencing different things each time. The problem is, she always dies 5 years after her reset point. I feel like I've seen this concept somewhere before. The reason for her death each time is due to a war caused by a guy named Arnold Hine. However, on her 7th life, Arnold takes an interest in Riche and asks for her hand in marriage. I wonder what she will do next. To be honest, I don't really have much to say about this first episode other than it was pretty good and I'm hooked. So I'll give this one a 7 out of 10.